Here we go. Ouch. Okay. Take two. All right, y'all, we're gonna get started. Shabbat Shalom. So nice seeing everyone this evening. I'm going to invite Brenda up here to light candles. Devin, if you want to come up here too, you can. We're on page 120 if you want to follow along in your prayer books. Thank you. We are moving over to page, what page are we moving over to? 128. Hine ma tovu manaim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manaim, shevet achiot gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achiot gam yachad. Hine ma tovu ma naim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu ma naim, shevet achiot gam yachad. We now move to the Chayei on page 138 of your prayer books. And tonight we're going to recite paragraphs 1, 5, and 9. We arrive on paragraph 9, and we invite you all to stand up and look towards the entrance as we greet the Shabbat bride. If anyone comes late, make sure you lock eyes with them to embarrass them for being so late, okay? All right, here we go. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmi anu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem l'teferet v'letila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, Kiva ore kumi ori, uri shir daberi, Kevod Adonai alek negila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise. Bo'iva shalom ateret bal'al, Gam besmicha uvtzola, Toch emunei am segula, Bo'ichala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. 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 You may be seated. We're now moving right over to Shalom Aleichem on page 142 of your prayer books. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Turn the page to 144. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba b'elma divrach yotev yamlik malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'gala uvizman kariv v'imaru amen. Yeheshmei Rabba Mevarach Le'alam Ulal Me'al Mayang Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitbramam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yitale V'yitalal Shemei Kudusha B'richu Le'elam Min Kol Berchata V'shirata Tush Bechata V'nechemata Da'al Miran Be'alma V'imaru Amen. Turn the page to 146 and I invite you to rise with me when you arrive there. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach, hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach, hamevorach le'olam va'ed. You may be seated. Okay, we're over on page 149. We're going to read the English together on top of that page. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravim. We're now going to continue on page 151 and read the English together on the bottom part of that page. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and simple. All these things your Torah gives to me. The more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love, this holiest of your works, in the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Now moving to the Shema on page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto Leolam Avad. We're on 154. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol avacha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meyotecha v'hayuhu ha'devarim ha'elem Asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinartam levarnecha b'divartam ba'am v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvtecha havaderech ushofpecha uvkumecha ukshartam leyot al yadecha v'hayilototafot beineinecha uktavtam al mizuzo beitecha uvisharecha lema'an tizkeru v'asitem et chol mitzvotai v'tem kiroshim leloechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzieti etchem meretz Mitzrayim liot lachem leelohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Let us read together on the English on top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, and that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together on 158. Lie, 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 mi chamocha ba'alim Adonai, mi kamocha ne'edar ba'kodesh, no ra tehilot osei efelem, no ra tehilot osei efelem, lie, 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 lie. Let's read together the top of 161 in the English, please. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporesh sukat shalom, aleni v'akol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. Now turn to 162 for Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. B'nei Ovein, B'nei Yisrael, Oti le'olam, V'shamru B'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Lasot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Ki shet yamin asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat lasot et hashabat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. We now move to the Amidah on page 164. When you arrive there, I invite you to stand with me. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagita hilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagita hilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol v'Hagibor v'Hanoram, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Gula Livnei B'neihem L'man Shemo B'Yahava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ezra Saram Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei Kol Atah Rav Li'Yoshia Mashiv haruach u'marit haga'ashem Mekakel chayim bechesed Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim Somech noflim berofei cholim U'matir asurim U'mekayem emunato Lishenei afam Michamocha ba'al gevurot U'nidom elach Melech me'mit u'mechayek U'matzmir Yeshua V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei hakol. We will now continue silently until page 180. You may be seated whenever you like. Oh, say shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael, ve'yakol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael, ve'yakol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yakol Yisrael. 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 Okay, now some words of Torah. It's a story as old as time. A man travels to parts unknown and finds himself at a well outside of a village. The man's timing is perfect because also at the well is a marriageable woman who is watering her family's flocks. The man falls in love with the woman and they soon get married. I just described not one, but 3 different stories in the Bible. Moses finds Zipporah at a well in Midian right after he flees Egypt. Jacob finds Rachel at a well near the city of Nahor after he flees Esau from Canaan. And finally, we have in this week's Torah portion where a servant of Abraham finds a wife for Isaac at a well in Haran and discovers Rebekah. This reoccurring theme of finding a wife by a well is a thing in the Bible. But what do we call this thing is up for debate. We have the data points that provide a pattern, but what does the data mean and how do we interpret it? This question is one of the reasons why the Bible is a living text. Over time, we develop new tools to understand and study these significant data points in our Torah. A really amazing tool that helped us understand the data points of finding love at a well is called a type scene. And Dr. Robert Alter was the first to use this tool in the Bible. Professor Alter did not invent the type scene, but took this tool that was used in Greek mythology and brought it over to biblical studies. A type scene is a convention that a culture agrees is the standard way to tell a story. Robert Alter claims that this is a betrothal type scene, that in order for the Bible to be a New York Times bestseller in ancient Israel, betrothals needed to happen in this way for the audience to enjoy the story. And I have a relatively modern example of this too. Murder at the Orient Express by Agatha Christie is considered to be a well-written murder mystery novel that works within the convention of how we like murder mystery genres in our culture. We are introduced to our hero, Detective Poirot, right? Is Poirot, I'm not sure how to say his name. Poirot? Okay, Poirot. I'm trying to nail that, yes. And so the detective, and then we have the cast of characters, a murder, and a mystery of not knowing who committed the murder. We don't know who did it, and we often don't know as much as the detective. However, enough foreshadowing and clues are offered for us to guess as the reader with the detective. Murder on the Orient Express is a good murder mystery novel because it matches our cultural conventions and expectations of this genre. So what happens if at the end of the book, Detective Poirot, I'm going to butcher that every time. Sorry, y'all. So what if he discovers out of nowhere that it was Dracula who actually murdered Mr. Ratchet? Did I get that right? Is it Ratchet or Ratchet? Now I'm guessing everything. I don't. Yes. Dang it. Yes. I'm second guessing everything I say. Anyways, no one would like this book, right? Because it does not meet the cultural acceptable standards of type scenes required for our culture's good mystery novel, right? We don't want some mysterious supernatural figure to come in at the end and be the murderer. The conventional type scene for our culture is that only the cast of characters introduced at the beginning of the book can be the murderer. Adding a supernatural character at the very end of a murder mystery is bad storytelling, at least for our culture, and breaks the type scene we have deemed to be good storytelling. However, some type scenes do break the normal convention to make the story more interesting, but don't break the normal convention enough to anger the audience. For example, when I describe in the Bible the same story of these betrothal type scenes at the well, each well story actually had unique differences. Professor Alter points out that in this Rebecca version that we read for this week's Torah portion, in the Rebecca narrative, Rebecca draws water from the well rather than the man drawing water from the well. While the other two type scenes, the man draws the water from the well. And Professor Alter suggests that the ancient Israelite audience would have noticed that detail instantly as subverting the type scene, and they probably enjoyed it immensely. The story subverts the type scene enough to make it interesting, but not too much to anger the audience. So back to Murder on the Orient Express, which I'm about to spoil, by the way, so if you haven't read this book, it's too late now. Spoiler alert, yes. In the book, the detective discovers that everyone helped in the murder because everyone had reason to hate him. What a wonderful subversion of the usual convention of murder mystery novels, right? The usual convention is that there's one murderer in a murder mystery novel, and it's up to the detective / the reader to figure out who it is. But Agatha Christie surprises the audience and makes everyone the murderer. And this still works within the type scene because it wasn't outside, like the type scene, like having a supernatural figure, but it was within the cast of characters presented at the beginning of the book. Agatha Christie successfully subverts the type scene enough to make it interesting, but not too much to anger the audience. And every culture has different type scenes that work for their version of telling stories. And what Professor Alter taught us is that type scenes can be considered a tool to help in understanding the Bible in an updated way. This tool teaches that details that are missing or different from similar scenes in the Bible were super obvious to the original audience and made for great storytelling and telling in that culture, but maybe not so obvious for us. However, type scenes are just one tool of many that we have in our arsenal. And I look forward to new tools that will continue to give us new insights of our Torah. Furthermore, I believe that one does not have to be a professor of literature to discover new tools. So, inspired by the betrothal type scene, I am going to attempt to get more out of this text. So here we go. I believe that these 3 data points are illustrating something other than betrothal. I'm not saying that Professor Alter is wrong, I'm just saying maybe there's something else going on here. I think they're also illustrating the powerful relationship women have with water in our Bible. What if we add a 4th data point that has nothing to do with betrothal, that comes from Numbers verses 1 and 2, and it goes like this. The Israelites arrived in a body at the wilderness of Zin on the first new moon, and the people stayed at Kadesh. Miriam died there and was buried there. And the community was without water, and they joined against Moses and Aaron. The death of Miriam prevents the Israelites from having water. In my mind, this fourth data point changes our perspective to show that our matriarchs had a powerful relationship with water. Water is not just a place of meeting in the Bible, water is also a source of life. And these data points show that our matriarchs had a certain affinity to 4 bodies of water in the Bible. They just didn't drink and meet there. Bodies of water, like wells, were places of divinity. And here's some more examples. In the Song of Songs, it says, "You are a garden spring, a well of fresh water," says God to the woman. Hagar is visited by an angel at a well and told that she would have a son, Ishmael. In my opinion, Rebecca's story in this week's Parsha is not just a betrothal type scene, but a scenario that powerful things happen at places of water, especially for women. I hope that many of you can take this story and string together your own data points and develop your own perspective, because scholars and rabbis should not have monopolies on how to develop tools to understand our Torah. Thank you. Moving on now to the Misha Berach, a prayer for healing, which is on page 371 of your prayer books. And in our own community, we're thinking about these members: Ross Rumack, Frank Erwiskin, Haley Goodstein, Alex Sportnick, Micah Purdy, Susan Mermelstein, Megan Krass, and Kara Clift. If there's someone who you are thinking about who's in need of healing, please feel free to say their names out loud or in your hearts as my hand crosses the brim. Misheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We now move to the Elenu, which you can find on page 587 of your prayer books, and when you arrive there, I invite you to stand with us. Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. 591. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Love each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity, and cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech kol ha'aretz v'yom hahu yiyeh Adonai now move to page 598 for our Mourner's Kaddish, and we're observing these yard sites this week. Josephine Arch-Schuler, Arthur Bashuk, Bernice Bloomfield, Jose Kravitz, Rose Fafuza, Martha Gibbs, Hilda Harris Nathan, Louis Kerman, David Rumack, Glenn Silverman, Ray Spiro. And we're also in a period of Shloshim for Bob Goodstein. If there's someone who you are thinking about or mourning for, please feel free to say their names out loud or in your hearts as my hand crosses the room. Zikaron Livracha, memories be for a blessing. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divra, Chayote, V'yamlik Malchute, B'chayei Chon, Uvyamei Chon, Uv'chayer Chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala Uvizman Kari V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarak Le'olam Ulamei Almaya, Yitbarak, Yishtabak, V'yitpa'ar, V'yipromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei Kudusha, Barichu, Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'elma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high, bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. I'm going to invite our board president, Roy, up here to offer us some announcements.
You are all welcome here. You all belong here. Our evening services on Shabbat are 6 p.m. Throughout the month. But on the second Friday, we have Tat Shabbat at 6 and more traditional service at 7:15. Our Shabbat morning services and Torah study are 10:30 to noon every Saturday here in person. And pardon me while I switch to something else. For this...
Let me be a little louder. I can see with kids.
Oh,
there you go.
Thank you. We're having a town hall noshluck on Sunday, and you are all invited to join us. This is a structured community discussion on the future of the two Jewish professionals model. This important conversation will take place this Sunday, November 24th, from 1:30 to 4 p.m. in person, and also tied in with our Zoom room. This is an opportunity for members to share thoughts and ideas about the model, and as a community, we'll hear a presentation on the rabbi selection process, which may include additional fundraising goals. We're then going to break into small discussion groups of maybe 4 people each here in person, as well as similar Zoom breakout rooms, and invite everyone to discuss in small groups 3 questions. What are the top 3 things you value about Congregation Beth Shalom? What do you want to see more of at Congregation Beth Shalom? And what are your primary hopes and primary concerns about having 2 Jewish professionals at Congregation Beth Shalom? Then we'll come back together. We'll have one person from each of the breakout groups share these items. We're going to record those. This will be information for posterity, but in the short run for the board and for the committees that are looking at so many facets of where we want Congregation Beth Shalom to, how we would like it to grow in the future. So I hope you can make it for that. Pardon me for a second while I get back to my regular announcements. So Wednesday mornings, we have a Minyan prayer meeting at 8:30 via Zoom every week. That's what we call our regular Zoom room. And then Thursday mornings, we have a Minyan meeting right here in person at 8:30, followed by an optional trip for breakfast at Kava Pancake House. On the third Third Saturday of the month, there's an opportunity to share in providing food for the hungry. If you'd like to help out with this, you can meet at about 1 p.m. at Fairview Rec Center on 10th Avenue and help set up, and people will arrive starting about 2 o'clock to receive bags of fresh produce of various kinds. So that's an opportunity if you can make it. Third Wednesday of the month is our regular Board of Trustees meeting at 7 p.m. live in the synagogue library, normally, unless it's too crowded, and also via Zoom. All CBS members are welcome to attend all board meetings, and you are encouraged to attend board meetings. Religious school meets starting on Sundays, 9:30 to noon. There's Hebrew classes at 9:30, and at 10 o'clock is Rabbi Abram's trademarked Shabbat time machine, and so invite you to come for that. This last summer, I started hosting an informal study group on Fridays after Oneg for people who want to improve their ability to read from the Latin alphabet transliteration of Hebrew on the left side in our Siddur. And if you want to do that after Oneg, we'll do that in the library. On fourth Saturday now, the date has moved, we're in the 5th year of a program called The Torah Uncensored that Rabbi Emeritus Michael Oblath has been leading. And right now, this fall and early winter, we're looking at the concept of chosenness in ancient Near Eastern religions in general, and specifically in the Jewish tradition. And I will mention that our semi-annual meeting will be December 15th at 1:30 p.m. here in person and also via Zoom. We will have there'll be 2 big components to that I want to mention. One is a follow-up or continuation of our whole community discussion on how we want to grow as we move forward as a congregation. And it will also be the opportunity to vote for 6 open positions on our board of directors. There's 12 regular voting members, and they come up in alternating years. So there's 6 positions open. So hope you can join us for those things. Any other announcements, Rabbi? Okay. Anyone else have something I forgot? All right, great. Thank you, Brenda. It's not too early to, because that's barely more than a month away. Not too early to put in your calendar. Hanukkah party here, 27th of December, 6 p.m. All right, thank you very much.
Okay, well, before I didn't pour enough grape juice or wine, which is a problem that I love to have. So if I can get a few volunteers to help pour some more, but as we get started for Oneg, that'd be really helpful. Thank you. We're gonna move over to 647 on our prayer book. At the bottom of the prayer book is 647. Ozi vazimrat ya vayahi eli lishua. 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 Ozi Vazimrat Yah Vayahili Lishua. Shabbat Shalom. Please join us for Oneg. We'll enjoy some grape juice and wine and some challah.